Warning. The following episode contains extreme spoilers for the film Midsommar and a moderate spoiler for Hereditary. The next It's All Been Done Radio Hour live show is Saturday, September 14th at 4:45 p.m. Universe Journey will be plagued once more by the return of everyone's favorite semi-omnipotent life form, Z, with a truly scrumptious guest star, Megan Overholt, and a special opening act by Musadora. Plus, more stories, including a new It's All Bend theater. Tickets are available at madlab.net/tickets. Hey guys, I'm Hornblower, and this is a special episode of Is the New... We've got all of Marianne's favorite stuff. I'm talking random flute playing, old lady titties, and of course, generous helpings of peen. So buckle up and don't try this at home. Welcome to Marianne's Macabre Review.
So, welcome out to Marianne's Macabre Review. Today we have with us Keith, Mike, Emily, Stephen,
hello,
and Jessica.
Hi.
And myself. And we saw Midsommar. Some of us sooner than others.
some of us multiple times.
Some of us multiple times.
All right.
And we all have different opinions of it. So, start with our general thoughts. Raise your hand if you have positive thoughts about this. Okay, so let's start here with Keith and go around, and then we'll end with the negative Nellies. Apparently, actually, I
have negative thoughts too.
Okay. Oh no.
Yeah, you didn't ask that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do we have negative thoughts about this?
Well.
Okay. But it's not all bad. It's not all good. So, Keith, start us out.
Well, first of all, the audience couldn't see us raise our hands, so I thought it was most of the time during the beginning I was thinking it was just very well shot. It was gorgeous and well acted. So those are the good thoughts that I have. I'm gonna leave it at that for the moment.
Mike.
I loved it. My favorite movie of the year thus far. I've seen it twice now, and would like to see it again. Based on other things
and
too.
You took your mom to it, Joy from our Winchester.
Yeah, took her to it, and she also very much enjoyed it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, Emily.
I really liked it. I will echo what Keith said on the acting and the visuals, and really the sound and music in general. It just was. I loved everything that I saw and experienced and felt. And I was along for the ride with the story. So, yeah.
I echo both you guys. The acting was great. The sound, the costuming, the production, it looked great. They did different things with it.
You can cover your negatives. This is general thoughts. This is not just good thoughts.
I know.
So, okay.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Kind of like the way I felt with the movie. I felt pretty good, and I read one of the reviews I read afterwards. I think it was the Times review, New York Times. Was kind of the same way. They were like, the setup's great. And I was like, I'm with you. And then about the time Colleen fell asleep, because we saw it late, I was like, you picked the exact right time. She's like, I didn't mean to. I'm like, you did. And I don't mean that. And I don't mean that the movie got boring necessarily either, because she was like, I can't believe you stayed awake. And that's not because the movie was that boring. It was just because we saw it late and we were both super tired going in.
What scene was it?
I can't remember exactly, but it essentially.
Well, what did you mean by she fell asleep at the right time?
She fell asleep at the time where I was like, all right, everyone's going to die, and we know it's going to die. Just kill them, and let's be done with it. Let's get to the final girl.
Yeah.
It's a final girl movie at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't realize until on the way home when I started yelling at everybody in the short room. Not to their face. I was just somehow I got, it's because I drank a giant Coke, or a small Coke, which would be a giant Coke, of course, during the movie to stay awake. And again, not because of the movie, because I liked it a lot. Just because I knew going in, I'm like, I'm really tired. So I think I got really amped up after, because I stayed up till 2 o'clock reading about it. So it's a fascinating movie. Overall, I recommend it. I think people should check it out. But.
Jessica.
So, all of these good points that people are making are not enough for me to overlook the fact that every single character is irredeemably stupid. Like, they're so like, it's like clues that these people suck. Characters' faces.
It's
bashed in like the fucking old people who jumped off the cliff. And I'm just like,
it is the Roger Ebert rule, which
can't.
I think he applied it to the Friday the 13th movies, but he talked about this with a lot of early 80s movies, which was, this movie would be over in 35 minutes, except everybody in this movie is so stupid. It's also the Eddie Murphy joke. I don't know, Keith, you might remember, because you're
Maybe.
Which was, he was talking about the Amityville Horror, where it's like, they walk in, it's like, oh, this place is great, we're going to move in. Get out. All right, we're going to look at some other places now. In this movie, they hear the get out. Like, you know what, I think there are other factors at play, though, so I will say that. Besides them just being stupid, I think there are other worldly, whatever, drugs and all that.
Yeah. I don't think
that affect it.
Yeah, there's the whole point of no return thing factor, too. It really didn't feel like, after a certain point, they had a lot of agency to leave even if they wanted to.
Right.
They were kind of at a place where it's like, if I wanted to leave, how the fuck would I get out of there? I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Didn't even try. Didn't even consider it.
Yeah.
The British people did.
Yeah.
And they were dumb about it.
And see what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
They were dumb about
They
it.
were very dumb. We want to leave. Okay. That's not how you leave.
You people suck.
Yeah.
You're stupid. I hate
From
you.
the
Go.
first.
I feel like that's a totally reaction that normal people should probably give in that situation.
I think half the people in the theater reacted that way at that point. Like, what? Everyone's face was like Florence Pugh's. Like, what the fuck?
But it was also
you kinda
like
knew it was coming, but
everything, pretty much everything I expected to happen. And I had no feelings of any sort of
That was my other problem.
thriller, or I was not tense at all.
My other
or
problem was
anything.
the only person I cared about was Florence Pugh.
I didn't care about her either.
Well,
She's the only one I care about. It might be because I like small blondes, but
I'm shocked.
I think that was purposeful. I think she was the only character that you were supposed to really care about.
yeah, and that's
so
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I mean,
very,
they-
very
Yeah.
directly done in that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
we circle back just for a moment. The way that normal people would react in that situation. I kind of feel like I'd be like, yeah, this is a thing that happened. What am I going to do about this? I probably should keep my mouth shut and kind of go, that's great, guys. I'm going to just kind of go over here for a bit and
Take that as 2 hours of darkness to my advantage.
not yell, what are you guys doing? I'm making a citizen's arrest, something. No, just...
Marianne, what are your general thoughts?
I liked the film. I definitely liked it better than Hereditary.
Agreed.
Same.
I'm ashamed.
See, this is where Jessica's all on the Hereditary train where I wasn't.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, I enjoyed the film. I did find the only two people that I liked was the guy that brought them all here.
Pele.
Pele.
Oh, I hated him.
And the girl.
Seemed like a pleasant enough guy.
And I was
Yeah, until he got his friends killed.
friends.
Yeah, they were never meant to be friends to
Yeah,
begin with.
that's true.
And then at the, through the entire thing, I was so worried that she was going to be the girl that gets sacrificed.
That's what I thought.
I
About
was
it
like-
too.
There was that lead up somewhere.
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh. And then as soon as, because I was like, F, this movie's getting an F. and then switcheroo, boom. Yeah, you can pick this guy or this guy to go into
I
the
think-
burden.
They gave it away earlier than that. Because they were like the last May Queens over there waiting to...
Oh,
Bless you.
I missed that. I must.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were like, you need to go over there and get blessed by the previous May
Well, shit,
Queen.
that would have changed everything.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
It was right before she went and saw Christian banging the other chick because they're like, no, don't go over there. You got to come over here where the other May Queen is.
Oh,
No,
I thought you meant
no, they were talking about the May Queen. They're talking about the queen of the village, who Christian was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I swear
That
this
makes
is
more
May
sense.
Queen.
No, yeah.
So while we're talking May Queen, and Keith, you might be the only one going with me on this.
Liz
Stairway to
Fair?
Heaven.
Oh.
If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed now. It's just the main queen. The May Queen.
I didn't know the lyrics.
Oh, well, there you go. So, which is...
Mike might.
And-
Stairway? No.
Stairway to Heaven, yeah.
So before we get too far, who wants to give a synopsis of this film? I think we have two diverging, like...
I mean, I'll give it.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
not going to be like, it sucked.
Go ahead, Jessica.
The end.
So, Danny's our main character. It starts with her sister and parents being killed in a murder-suicide. Sister's the one doing the murdering. Danny is naturally distraught, and she's in a funk for a while, an indeterminate amount of time. Her boyfriend guiltily invites her on his guy's trip to Pele's family Midsommar celebration. They go. He lives in a commune, or is how they describe it, a commune,
In Sweden, was it?
in Sweden.
But do shenanigans happen?
Certainly, once they get there.
Whew. They do act very American. They're. I mean, if they didn't act as American as they did, I think some of them might have actually survived if they hadn't.
Right.
They act very American
especially
that never has
Mark.
traveled anywhere.
Right. Okay. There. You go.
They got, as soon as they got somewhere, they kind of immediately got taken advantage of that. It's like, hey guys, you want to do a bunch of hallucinogenic drugs right now? Let's get this party started.
Like fresh off the boat. Here we go, guys. Here's a
Welcome to this
baggie.
foreign land and these foreign customs. Let's go trip balls for a while.
I just...
Like, they told you they're going to a commune, and you're going to go to Sweden. You're going to go all the way to Sweden, and you're going to spend all your time on a commune? No, thank you.
They
didn't
were
really
writing
say-
a thesis.
To me, they didn't really say commune. He kept saying he was from a small community. Somebody else referred to it as a
Yeah.
commune. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, kind of like that.
The final girl did. Danny.
Yeah,
And he corrected her.
yeah.
Yeah. To finish up my final thought, my thoughts was I liked it. We got to the part where I realized there was a switcheroo and it went from F to A, B before in a blink of an eye because I was like, oh, I like this now. Because the entire movie I'm like, well, I'm waiting for her to die now, waiting for her to get this thing happen and she'd be sacrificed and all of her. I originally thought that her boyfriend and all the guys were going to leave her, but then they all started getting picked off. So I was like, I think I like this film.
I did not think she was going to die. Beyond kind of the very beginning, as soon as Haley started showing obvious interest in her, I think that started to unfold a little bit. And watching it a second time too, there's a lot that they allude to. Like they might have watched that stuff like the second time through. Like the whole movie is a lot of allusions and foreshadowing to things that are still to come. So that was. I have a whole list of notes too.
Okay, awesome.
I guess if anything at that moment I thought that she was going to be held against her will in some way. Maybe she might be killed inadvertently or she had to get away kicking and screaming or something like that. But yeah, not necessarily. I don't think the object would have been to kill her directly, but yeah.
I think I would say that. Actually, let's just go into it. All right, let's just dive right in. Let's talk about good. Let's talk about the bad. Let's put them all together. Mix it up. See what we get. So, who would like to start?
You've got the note.
So
Let's
start
go
out with
down
the-
the points.
List. All right. Number one, I just want to say that I am greatly anticipating the director's cut that is coming out, or
The
was
4-hour version.
I
or
saw
the
there's a
extra?
4-hour version. I read.
or I read 3-hour version.
Yeah, I
or
read
at
there's
least 3-hour
4-hour
version.
too.
But I know it's being released in New York next month. They have an official release for it, so I'm hoping. Because there are a lot of things that I wanted to see delved into more. Mainly, the one thing that annoyed me the most was Will Poulter's character got off real easy. I feel like you didn't actually. I mean, what happened to him, but you don't really get to like see the process leading up to it.
Which
Will
one's
Poulter's character,
He's he's Mark, right?
Oh, the guy who got skinned?
yeah, the guy got
Oh, yes.
skin.
Well, they were playing Skin the Fool. The little kids were playing Skin the Fool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then, so I
I feel like
I
they
can
just got
remember
he
the
was
game.
like he was the obviously like the purposefully the most grating character of it all. So I do feel like he still got off a little
too
a little
easy.
easier by just being off screen. But I do know also they went back and forth the MPA like 6 different times to try to get an R rating, so he had to cut so much stuff out of the original.
I would go see it again if I could see him getting skinned.
Well,
See,
it might be,
I'm glad I didn't have to see any.
might be, and
So-
just a lot of the
Oh, I was going to say, so yeah, by getting off easy, you mean we didn't actually get to see the
His
graphic.
death was off scene.
Yes. Well, I mean,
off. Yeah.
right, yeah.
yeah, I feel and not necessarily
Wasn't
just
as
like
gratifying.
I'm not just talking about like the skinning them. I'm talking about like something leading up to it because I feel like his death would have been much more than just like
Yeah.
we're gonna kill you and skin you. Like there's gonna be like you pissed on our ancestral tree. Like you've been
Yeah.
a douchebag this
and
entire
the
time.
girl kept trying to lead him off, and so she did. And I would like to see how that actually played out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I bought
Yeah.
into the gore part, but yeah,
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
what, that's
I'm with
about.
you.
Like I want to
I'm
see a
with you
little
on
more
that.
of like
Yeah.
what a little more
Yeah.
of his fate would have been.
Yeah.
Would have been cool.
because he probably thought something was going to happen, and well, something did, but not
Well,
a good
something
thing.
did
Yeah, it did.
Well, she showed him.
Yeah.
She did.
She showed him
did.
somewhere, right? And also on the same, just like some of like the further lore in it, like they just like alluded to more, like more about like their prophet, their inbred prophets that they
Yeah.
have, and like all like was very
Yeah.
like slightly hinted on. So I'm wondering if they didn't like cut stuff for time, or whatever, because it was already clocking a 2.5 movies, so 2.5 hours, so they're gonna try to trim that down. So that. There's some allusions to cannibalism that didn't really get like totally like brought out.
I
to...
thought the pies were one of the guys. That's what I kept.
Well, they
thinking.
Yeah,
did.
and
Well, when
that's
she
what
went
they
in there
did.
and they're like, "What are we making?" and they just say meat.
right.
Like,
And I guess it could be because they were stuff.
Everybody's just skins.
Right?
Like all the stuff is missing.
Yeah.
So yeah, very possible.
And I will say, I kind of like that aspect of like, we're not going to tell you that's what happened, but
yeah, and again, it's the whole like. So it's the cycle of life. Everything goes in and is reborn as something else. Which also brings me to something that I didn't catch the first time, but I caught the second time around. Is the guy's face in the trees?
Oh.
The old guy who jumped from the cliff. He shows up again after that in the trees.
really,
Yes, and which leads me to want to watch it again because I'm going to watch for the freaking woman showing up in the trees too. But he shows up in the trees when she's declared the May Queen and they lift her up on that circular podium they're carrying
That
her.
was him?
Yeah, he's back in the
Okay.
trees in like this big elongated vase like it's in the trees. And I didn't see it the first time, but I saw it very very often. Like it jumped out at me the second time.
Wait, hold on. When they were doing the feast, when everything was all trippy, the May Queen is sitting at the table. Were those the old people's bodies laid out on the? Looked like they had those
The
people
thing that was
shaped.
pulsing.
Yeah, they had like
Oh,
those
yeah.
two sections of
I think that was
dishes that looked like they were.
meat.
No, because
It
they were
looked like woman shaped, sort of one of them, and
It definitely, yeah. And that's another thing. Like the way that they always viewed the food was always very like abstract, and, like either blurry or far away. So another thing that led me to like the potential, like without just outright saying it or showing it, like they're definitely alluding to it. And also when Mark said something earlier about like everything being gross, like they're trying to make this gross, like the food like being really off-putting, and it never really looks that appetite. Like even when you're seeing eating it, it always kind of looks just kind of off-putting too. Like there's never really like any decent focus on the food.
I remember the overhead shot of where the first time they started eating it, it was like green, red, and like
Right.
it was like very presented very well, but you couldn't tell what it was.
Right.
So
just
Yeah.
fork full of
Very
something, a
distinct.
cheap little bite of something. You don't really see them doing anything. They're just like
that was one of the
Yeah.
things I think the overhead shots and everything else established as well was. It seemed like it was a big area, but kind of small. It seemed claustrophobic, but out in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
Right.
And so I thought that was a cool effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They filled. I mean, they filled the screen with all the people, but you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Because I had no idea how many people were there. It was like a Star Trek episode where they beat down to a planet. There's 40 people. It's like, where the hell's everyone else? But I couldn't tell you how many people were there. I couldn't tell you if everyone was at each of those meals. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some questions about the lore also. Like, they're like, we have this festival every 90 years, but they have all these pictures of May Queens. And I'm
Oh,
like, so
right.
what do you do the other 89 years in between or whatever.
They discovered photography a long time ago. They're an advanced culture.
It's just like
Apparently.
banging the other 89 years.
They still use the original camera.
Isn't it that they sacrifice the 9 people every 90 years?
That's
and
what
they
I
do
thought.
like a
That's
May
what I thought.
festival.
Yeah,
like
I
a
would hope they would
Midsummer?
have a May
because
festival.
they're talking about it's a midsummer festival happens every year, but then there's these other things that happen
Every 90
years.
Because Colleen was
So
like,
it's
did they
the
do that
big-
every year? I'm like, no, they did say every 90 years.
Yeah.
I was under the impression
But
that
there's not enough pictures to go back to
Right.
how long they've been photographs.
at first it seemed like that was like what happened to 72-year-olds, the 2 people that were jumping
Oh,
off. I
right.
thought
Well, yeah,
that was
that is what happens to 72-year-olds.
Yeah. I
But that's
think
not the sacrificial part.
later, you mean at the end.
The
Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
So that does just happen to 72-year-olds over them going over the cliff. Huh.
It would be convenient if you had 72-year-olds. They could have just used those 2.
Yeah.
Wait, they did use those 2, right?
Yeah.
They were 2. They were
Right,
They
they
2 of
counted.
They
the
weren't
No,
in the
no,
temple.
no.
No,
They
they were in
weren't.
the temple. No, that was 2 other.
Oh, it was the other
That
2.
was totally separate.
Why not use the
Yeah.
2 people who are already 72?
I
That
thought
seems inefficient.
I
Because
could have sworn that was
their
wait.
Beat
So,
would be a little gamey.
yeah.
They had the 2 people that. Oh yeah, it was the 2 guys.
2
Right.
living
It was
people
the
that
2 old
volunteered.
people that 2 old people. Me, my age. No, the 2 old people that led the dinner or whatever. And, yeah. Okay. Yep.
Which actually leads into another
Oh,
point
yes.
that I had.
Perfect.
So actually, going back to the 2 old people jumping thing, I didn't notice the first time either, but I feel like there was a slight fourth wall breaking in that scene. So right when you see, like, it kind of pans out and it shows everybody standing there and like up the cliff, and the one person is like the front right of the screen like turns around and like
looks
looks
at
towards
the
the
camera,
camera.
yeah.
And at first you're like, oh, looking like the main character's behind them, but then you realize the main character is actually in the foreground, like up in the front right. So they're not really looking at anybody, but it's like, hey guys, get ready. Like this is
Oh,
what's
that
about to
guy.
happen.
Yeah. I thought he was the horn player, so like the
Right, but he just kind of like looks behind, and then like for no apparent reason other than to just be like,
sub camera.
"Hey guys," and I did not even like pay attention to that until the second time I saw it.
hey, this is Hornblower, and this is Jackass.
Yeah, right.
So when they first walk into the glade or whatever, and you hear that music playing, and then they, oh look, and then there's people playing the fucking music. I was like,
It's hilarious.
are you shitting me?
It's like a Family Guy bit. They pan over and you have the people
Yeah,
actually
and
going,
there's people playing.
Well,
the little
I just
thing.
thought-
It's like,
Those guys have been playing that for like 6 hours, and
Yeah,
and they don't
exactly.
care. They're like, "This is perfect. This is what we do."
And it's part of like the humor
job.
in the movie too. Like it's
Yeah.
like both
There are
times.
a lot of funny
but
things.
yeah, there's so much humor going on in the movie, and like it was good, like because both of our audiences, like both times we saw it, the audiences we saw it with, were like everybody was on the same page, like laughing at like all the same parts, and just, like,
Oh.
it was so good.
Ours was not.
No.
Ours was not.
Well,
There was-
before we get to the flute playing thing, though, I was just going to say that it reminded me of maybe one of the first 2 Gen Cons I was at with you.
oh, fuck.
Yeah, the Indiana convention with the ocarinas being passed out
Oh
and
my
the
God. They
the 2.
they had a booth. This was when Ocarina of Time had just come out. Link and Zelda. And there was a vendor booth that was 2 or 3 vendor booths that were selling actual Link Ocarinas of Time. And we were in the middle of the hall of not even the hall. It was like the where you wander around and you can go into different areas.
a thoroughfare of sorts.
There was a Link standing there like doing a little jazz ocarina, and another one saw him from across the room, had his little swag bag with him, pulled out his ocarina, threw down his swag bag, and went. I was like, "What is happening?" And it's like, and no one really knows how to play an ocarina.
But it was more like.
So it was just like
Continuous
total
tweet, yeah.
tweeting at everybody. I was like, stop, you're not doing the actual, any of these, you're not summoning the wind or changing time or anything. Please stop, because I have a thing with chaos. And that was just
Guaranteed.
absolutely just like everyone playing their ocarina and playing different notes. And I was just like, fuck, stop.
So my point in bringing that up is I thought that's how you would feel when they panned over and showed those people playing the flute. It was just kept going. I thought you were like,
But those flautists might have actually been summoning something.
Yeah, they could have.
That's true.
Might have been a better movie if they actually summoned a demon.
I wanted a demon.
I did not.
We had heard that this was in the same timeline as Hereditary. So we guessed or assumed that maybe this was the same cult that was dealing with Paimon. It was not.
No, not at all.
Yeah, no. We found that out the hard way by seeing the movie.
Well, that's good because this one makes a lot more sense than Hereditary, though.
I agree.
That's what I've read too. And I didn't see it.
You didn't see
but
Hereditary?
I've read that too.
I recommend you see it.
It's good, but it's got some things that don't make any damn sense. So
Tony Collette was wrong.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. Go.
I just got stuff.
Keep rolling.
Keep rolling.
Yeah, this is good structure.
All right, so so what we were talking about before, we're going talking about that, and then talking about the sacrifice thing. So jump ahead to the sacrifice thing again. So there's more as far as the foreshadowing stuff. There's a lot of like Pele talks about his parents burning up in a fire. So obviously they were sacrificed in some ways. What I was assuming, which also kind of confused me with the whole timeline. Like that is something that was kind of off about because I'm assuming that's what he was talking about, being sacrificed in fire, like with that.
See, I figured this is a cult, and so how do cults get people? They prey on people who are lonely and
Orphans.
Tragedies happen to them. So
Which
I figured
because he did say he was an orphan,
Yeah.
and then he found his, but he didn't really say he's found. He kind of said
I've
he
always been
he
orphan,
had
yeah.
his family already. So I'm thinking that his parents were part of the cult too.
Maybe they tried to escape. Maybe they wised up and then they were like,
Yeah,
no, now
maybe.
you are son.
Maybe
Maybe
they were
that'll be
recruited.
more explained in the director's cut too.
Maybe his parents were 72.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Like they could actually be older.
Because he
like
wasn't
in
going
a
to tell her,
cult.
oh, my
Instead of
parents
jumping
jumped
off
off
the
a cliff
cliff,
and
they just,
smashed into a rock.
Yeah.
A
He
giant
could have
rock.
said that instead
themselves
of...
on fire.
Yeah,
That I will say that whole scene. I mean, you know what's coming, but you don't know there's a giant rock at the bottom.
I saw it.
Because I was like, oh.
That was she had such great aim. And I know that was important for the first one to show you
Yeah.
what she's supposed to do. To see the contrast to the other guy just going, I'm just going to take a dip in the pool, just jump feet first. And
Well, and Colleen and I are very much like, I'm looking away. And then just to make sure, he was like, nope, bullshit. I'm just going to flash a couple more pictures of these people's faces that got smashed in. You can't look away.
No looking away. This is where someone in the audience, it was dead silent, and someone went, wow.
I didn't check for which part.
I think it was the first woman.
Yeah.
And speaking of foreshadowing, I feel like they've been walking around with that giant
That
mallet.
giant
for a
mallet.
while.
I knew that giant
Chekhov's mallet.
Yeah,
Chekhov's
I was
giant
like,
mallet.
Yeah, that guy.
Awesome.
It's gonna get you.
Yeah, someone's not gonna die,
Yeah.
and then the whole family coming up and smashing the guy's head in.
Yeah.
I was like, whew, that's good. I like that.
even after he's dead.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's
okay.
symbolic.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Sure.
equally guilty. It's
Well,
It's a firing squad?
Yeah.
They also didn't want him to suffer, right? Because he screwed it up.
He did mess it
Did
up.
he decide
bad.
he didn't want to hit the rock, or did he just not?
I think he
Maybe
just couldn't do it.
gravity?
Yeah.
It looked like he was like he didn't have the technique. He was
frail.
like oh, here I go.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
feel
don't
like
get
you
to
would have to
practice
make a
it.
hop.
Yeah.
To actually.
She was like and forward. And
It
just
It was
like,
a Pocahontas dive.
Yeah.
It was.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Make sure you go the first time.
So you don't have to have a family come in and bash your head in.
Right.
It's like, I feel fine. Let's go
It's
for
just
a walk.
a flesh wound.
Yeah, I am dead actually. You don't need to follow up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm dead.
Oh, he's really dead. I don't think we have to hit him at all.
Go get some mud to rub on my wound. My leg wounds.
Of course, I'd already be blacked out from the pain. What happened to his leg? So it wouldn't matter. I would be able to say.
Just wake up hours later.
Yeah.
What happened? I'm dead.
Well, you'd wake up on the fire. The very ineffective fire.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The fucking fire.
They were Jedi Knights. That's why they had to burn.
Yeah.
I was like, just an open flame.
Yeah, it takes more than that to burn.
Bones explode.
to-
But they were wearing like
Ashes.
burlappy kind of stuff, weren't
Yeah,
they?
everything in there was pretty flammable. It was filled with straw, and it was a
Burlap,
wooden structure, and
Yeah,
they were all in
but
burlap and
bones
sticks.
literally explode in crematorium.
But a regular fire wouldn't get hot enough to like.
Yeah, at least
for
on
the
a
two old
fire, it's
people.
like
Yeah, this was just a
built
skillet.
up. They're just like on there.
Again, it's like the Jawas.
Melting.
Maybe they
I
were
guess.
just cooking them for later,
Maybe.
and then taking the. Well, see,
Took
no,
the
they
ashes
did
from
the
their
ashes.
clothes.
Yeah, they did take the ashes. Yeah,
But
they
that
just
might have
took the
been.
ashes.
That might have been. But yeah, they might have got some meat out of it.
Well, they took
But
the old people ashes.
You wouldn't be all
Yeah,
nice and
right.
ashy though.
Yeah.
They grind you up after they cremate you.
Yeah.
They might have went through several burnings though. I don't know
Yeah.
for sure.
Grind you up.
I feel like they might have had a system by then to
And they were kind of. I mean,
to deal with ashes.
some of them were kind of already smashed down in certain parts too. From
This is,
going into
The whole
thing.
orbital bone and all this stuff.
yeah, the
here.
skull they didn't even have to bother. It was already
It's
tenderized.
pre-ground.
Oh, and stripped out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no flesh inside that shit.
What'd you?
Go ahead.
What's next?
More? Okay. Also, onto the fire. I can't remember his name, but the one character who sacrifices himself to go burn in the flame is he's the guy who's
Oh, Ingmar.
not Ingmar,
Not
the other,
Pele's
the,
brother.
the other one.
The other one.
The guy who's
Ingmar
like
something.
smirking the whole time over like every hint of like death and like evil doing that's
Yeah.
going on, and he is the one who's like and then he's the one who starts screaming. Like he's the one who
Yeah.
like screams and he feels the pain. I thought that was a great like
Uh-huh.
a great transition from like him being like that guy's like always smirking in all of those scenes, and then he's so happy about this, and then he's the one who really like you hear him like screaming as like
terrible
first
mistake.
effects.
I
Yeah,
made a mistake.
yeah. I thought that was really
Yeah.
good. Crossing these off my list as I go. Anybody else? Or just talking?
We had no. I mean, we have opinions. So
Do
go
you want to? Can we get to the fertility stuff then?
Sure, Keith.
So yes, I think did we talk about it on Mike yet about the way we like the foreshadowing of the tapestries and so forth?
We have not.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's something I had too.
Do you want to lead with it, and then we can add to it?
So the foreshadowing begins like at the very beginning of the movie.
Mhm.
The paintings and everything, and like the apartments. There's so I can only remember a couple off the top of my head. I remember watching it the second time too, and remembering more. One of the most striking ones was the girl in the flower crown kissing the bear.
Yeah,
Like the
we
painting,
caught that
which is
one. Jessica and I
obviously
caught that one.
There's also another painting of a girl who's like falling in the forest, and her dress blends in with all the flowers around her, and it looks like a big flowing flower gown.
Oh, nice.
And they were like
where were these paintings located?
Like
just in
their
the beginning
apartments.
scenes, like in the different apartments.
The bear one is in her apartment.
Yeah, the bear one's in her
when
apartment.
she's like crying on her.
I think the flower one might be in her apartment too. And there were at least 3 or 4 that I spotted the second time around too. Like, but I can't remember anymore the second time. And then like like the tapestry. Well, the one tapestry is really obvious. The love potion one.
So,
But then all the stuff too, like the wallpapery kind of stuff. That's all things that
Oh,
shows
yeah.
a bunch of the actual like
Yeah, the guy keeps sitting down in front of
Things.
the bear ones.
Oh, I just
The
started
bear
just
one,
looking at that every
the
time.
fire
It was in the scene, that's
sacrifice
all
is
I
on
looked
so
at.
the bear
The
on
shape
fire
of the
thing.
table was
Yeah.
a symbol above her bed, like how the
yeah, the
Shaped like a
shapes
ribbon.
and a lot of symbols that keep reoccurring. Also, when they're driving, notice the second time too. When they're first driving up, like into Sweden, it's like the aerial shot. To the left in the field, it looks like there's a symbol that's like mowed out too, and
Oh,
it
nice.
looks like the symbol that like you see a couple of times like in the ruins too. So
Nice.
it's weird, like little things like that I feel like are peppered throughout the movie too. That might take a couple of viewings to catch up on.
Speaking of symbols, what were the symbols on like the rocks? Like as they're kind of exploring. Yeah, like there were a number. I mean, the one where they after the old people slit their hands and they like wipe them on the stone. There,
yeah.
that was one. But then there was one prior to that had like all sorts of markings.
He's like,
and
"Oh, is
language.
that this?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Well, it's pre this."
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, I was curious what all that
Yeah.
was, but
Yeah, I mean they just talk about the
Isn't the
they
cover
all,
of Led
they all
Zeppelin 4?
learn
isn't
the runic alphabet.
Isn't it a runic
Yeah.
language? I'm tying it all back to Led Zeppelin 4, people.
Yeah,
well,
well,
maybe-
on the mountain. I
Maybe
was like,
maybe we'll find out that it's actually a Led Zeppelin cult.
but, like the symbols look like an RBT, so I kept calling it the Ribbit Rock. And like frog.
So about the love potion,
Oh,
Oh,
or rather the
the
ritual
ingredients that
yes.
you would have to do.
the love
The
potion and the love
tapestry
pie.
was the love drink and the love pie. Started out with like the girl seeing the guy and then like jumped right into it with like, "Hey, I'm cutting off my pubic hair," and like there she is, like her legs spread way wide, and then the next one she's like putting her menstrual blood into the drink, and it's a very graphic image of that too.
A dotted line.
A dotted line.
A straight dotted line.
And then she's pregnant, and they're in love.
Yeah.
Now, I thought this was going to be Pele, because I was like, it's a blonde girl with a dark-haired guy, dark-haired long guy. And originally I thought it was two women, and I was like, I'll sign up for that. Where's that at? And then I never got it. Kind of, they kissed a little bit, but
Yeah, I was impressed that Mark could spot a pube at 12 paces.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like, is that a pubic hair? I was like, how can you even
yeah.
So
see?
that's the thing I was going to say about that scene in particular, which I thought was kind of funny. I know it was effective storytelling. They showed it to us. We're expecting it. Something's gonna happen eventually, but the very first bite.
He takes the tiniest bite, too.
Yeah, like right on the edge.
How much pubes
Yeah,
did she put
she
in
must
there?
have. I was thinking to myself, that had been like chock full.
She was really
spreading
set on him though.
Yeah.
every
She
single
shaved the whole thing.
Like what are the chances of like that one little corner having a hair right there? He's like,
I mean, none of those girls were getting bikini waxes. So there was plenty of pubic hair. put
Plenty
in
of
there.
hair.
She was also intense. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
she
my
had
God.
an intense gaze. Like, she was
Yeah.
just intense in
Very
general.
Yeah.
She overdid everything, I'm
I
sure.
would like to see what she looks like in regular life.
Yeah.
Because I think
I feel like I've seen her somewhere. She was one of the people I didn't look up at in
Yeah.
the movie. But.
I feel like they've made her up to be even more intense. Than, like they put the red around her eyes and stuff. And
Well, yeah.
every time she was just like,
Sometimes homeschooling will do that to you.
She looked real young, too. So
Yes.
when there was a sex
Yeah,
scene, I was
that
like, oh,
was,
thank God she's 18.
Yeah, that was the same. I was like, okay.
well, she got her permit. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
think back when you got your learner's permit. You were like, let's go driving. You know, it's like I see a car, let's go. You know, so it's like, what? There's
she's
a
hop
boy
on the
visiting. I got.
hop on the first dick she finds.
Yep.
It's like, hey,
Speaking
that
of
guy's
which,
not my cousin or brother.
Remember she'd just gotten approved to mate
Yeah.
there too, so that was a new
that's
thing
true.
for her.
Speaking of which,
Right.
a lot of dong in this movie.
Hence the learner's permit.
A lot of dong.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I was like, ha!
I don't know, a lot.
little
I mean,
bit.
3 or 4.
it
I
wasn't.
don't normally see it jumping around
I'd-
outside.
I'd say Hereditary
there was-
had more than
There was
that.
the skin suit penis,
Right.
and then there was just Christian
Oh,
at
God.
the end.
And then,
vulnerable,
no, the,
freaked out state.
wasn't there one other one? Oh, no, the guy hanging.
Oh yeah,
The Englishman.
the guy whose lungs were still breathing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Alive. He was
Who
just
got the
alive.
So 3
Viking?
dongs, which-
The Viking.
Simon.
3 more than you see in most
Simon.
movies.
Yeah.
When he
I
was-
mean,
Three dogs more.
non-pornographic movies.
Yeah.
I forget what that's called. It's
Was he
like
breathing?
3 dogs more.
his lungs
You
were.
can see his
That's
lungs going. It showed
the title
There you go.
that I
They're, like,
expected.
played. Yeah, he was still alive.
That's supposedly a Viking method of killing people.
Hmm.
And they did it supposedly. I don't think there's any actual proof except like paintings.
The photographs
That's
they had.
interesting
Like-
you say that though, because they made a comment like the like jerk guy was like, "Oh yeah, all the Vikings dragged the attractive women
Yeah.
here."
That's
Like
right.
that's so funny.
But it's
Mark?
called like eagle,
Yeah.
something eagle, because it's like makes wings.
The wings
on
of
the
an
back.
eagle, yeah,
And
because
supposedly
it's-
they can be alive for a little bit, like bleed to death instead.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a question. I want to know if you guys think that the redhead, the crazy woman,
Sister,
like
yeah.
if she was like told to pick Christian,
I
or
think-
if she like did that on her own.
I think she was. I think she liked the woman because remember when she was having sex, she like kept making eye contact with her.
No, I think that
I
was
thought that
like,
was like her mom or
That was
something.
just, that was just part of the whole
Yeah.
like hive mind thing going
no,
on.
yeah, she was like the mentor, I think, or like the
Yeah.
Like,
It was
it
the
was
first
just-
time she didn't like. She was scared and in pain, and she was
Yeah.
looking to her for like support.
It was really convenient that, like, you know, she became the May Queen, and then her boyfriend is the one who's picked, and like it just all was orchestrated
And they're like,
really well.
No, don't go.
Yeah.
Don't go. Oh, you're going. And they waited. Yeah.
That for sure. I mean, that
Yeah.
at a certain point, and obviously, like Pele, his designs were at least revealed that was his his intentions all along,
Yeah.
and you
To
know,
like put a wedge in that relationship.
well, just his intentions to make Danny the May Queen and everything. That's what they said.
I liked his.
For his unclouded judgment or his unclouded sight.
When he holds you, does it feel like home? And I was like, good question to ask. Putting that little.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
well,
Which goes to your point. They weren't really friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciated that the build of at the beginning. She was talking about how she was imposing too much on him. She wasn't getting what she needed from him necessarily. and Pele explained to her that he always had the support he needed from his family. They kept demonstrating whenever one of them felt an emotion or pain, they all just joined in and kind of buttressed it. And leading up to that final scene at the end where she was like, "This is great." Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everyone's like, yeah, it is great.
Yeah, screaming pain. Oh, I get it now. Credits.
Yeah. I did like that end. I did like her smiling. Like,
It's good. It's a happy ending. It was. She found family. She's the whole movie. She's just suffering and trying to recoup from grief and loss, and
when she got through the breakup,
which obviously her family also obviously caused her a great deal of stress and pain throughout her life too. So it never really was something that she was comfortable and grounded with either. And
she's on Ativan. Do we know what type of drug that is?
Anti-anxiety.
Anti-anxiety. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, because she had panic attacks throughout the movie.
Oh, I thought that's what it was.
I love those. That.
Yeah. The way she cried, I was a little like, "What's happening here?"
Full body cry.
The screaming cry that she would do. Oh, I just came. Yeah, that was just too much. I was like,
"This is why Christian was gonna break up."
That
well,
that's freaking Friends.
I wanna draw a line back to Hereditary with that and the acting.
Oh,
Toni Collette, when she finds out her daughter's dead after her mother's died, her crying there
I've already had a bunch more.
I'm
gonna forget it.
I felt was much more sympathetic, and I felt I was my heartstrings went out to her and everything. And I was like, oh God, yeah, this is a sad scene. And then with her, I was just like, why didn't she just shut up?
I was going to disagree. It's her crying,
I'm with you guys.
It felt so raw to me that literally the moments when she was gasping for breath and was just screaming because she didn't know how to get out the emotion in any other way. I've had moments of feeling like that.
I haven't, and
likewise. And I've as someone who's suffered from panic attacks, and somebody who's had people close to me suffer from panic attacks, that were much more akin to what she was doing in the movie, where it's just these uncontrollable, insane, heavy cries and gasping for breath. That was something the first time I watched it, I really appreciated it. The second time I watched it though, it hit me kind of harder. Even watching, I was just I can't I literally kind of had to block out a little bit of that. The second time watching it, I was like, this is a little too close to home right now.
And everyone keeps conveniently forgetting that she just lost her whole family.
She
all
at once.
Yeah. By the way, I feel bad about that.
Yeah, I was like, fuck off, Pele.
Well, there was no that was obviously some time later. Never really said the exact amount of time later.
Right.
So,
apparently a week or two.
Because we didn't see the
I
funeral.
think it went from winter to summer.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because that's right.
Because they weren't talking about the
6
trip
months.
until
They were talking about the trip when they're like, oh my God, she called. She's calling again. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it was spring, so it was a couple months later.
Yeah, I would have loved to see their faces when he was like, holy shit, her family's dead.
Her whole family's dead.
His fucking friends being like,
oops. Oh.
Well, even Mark at the moment when she walked, and he was just when he was expecting her to get. I'm not gonna say anything. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go into this other room. Will you come over here so I can avoid this whole situation?
I read this and I agreed with it when I watched it. When they're having that one moment at the apartment and it's just so uncomfortable and they don't know how to talk to each other. It's early on when it's when he first comes over. I think after it, and he was essentially going to break up, and then I think it's where he ends up kind of blaming her for everything.
yeah.
He's trying. Yeah, he's playing the
just
woe is me
maybe I
card.
should just
Yeah. And I was just like, oh God, this hurts just all around. That was the most uncomfortable moment in the movie
What scene was this?
Yeah.
Where she's like, no, come sit with me,
Yeah.
please don't leave. She's begging him to stay.
She's like, I'm not mad. It's fine. I just want to understand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then she ends up and then somehow he ends up inviting her to. I'm like,
Yeah.
what doesn't happen?
Because wasn't his plan that she'll say no?
Yeah.
That's what he was expecting. That she wasn't.
And now he's dead. So, yay.
But not before, as was also foreshadowed, him getting Swedish girls, or at least a Swedish girl, pregnant, because they also mentioned that at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Think about all the Swedish girls you could be impregnating.
Oh my God.
Which we did one. Also, can we just talk about how absolutely fucking hilarious that scene is too in
Yes.
general.
Mm-hmm.
That impregnation scene.
Mm-hmm.
That was the audience favorite right there.
That was
Yeah.
People were cracking up. Just the,
both times we saw it, like everybody's like, yeah, it's just
I mean, what can you do?
it's
Yeah.
hilarious though. It's so
it's
Can
the
you just imagine someone coming down as you're like
and singing.
entering a girl?
It's so-
Just the look on his
Like-
face. It's just like
My
also, like,
favorite was the old lady like shoving
Yeah.
his butt in.
That's
his
what I was
sister.
doing.
and the
So
fact
I, was
that
gonna say, I can
he-
imagine that, but it's not an old lady. It's
Well, not just he, but like everybody in the movie, like as soon as, and I think this also plays into a huge part of the movie. As soon as they get to spin, they take mushrooms, and basically the rest of the time they're drinking these weird fucking elixirs
That's what
that are
I
handed to them.
Yeah.
So like the entire movie just kind of, for every character, it kind of fades into like this weird hallucinatory thing that like. And the first time I was watching it, I was like, I wonder how much of this is like actually happening. And then the second time I was like, I think it's all happening, but it's fucking with people way more because like the whole time, like nobody is really in a straight mindset once they get there. Like the entire time,
Yeah.
they're being given those weird
Yeah.
fucking drinks and stuff
Yeah.
that they're constantly.
Somebody said
drinking
that's the
and-
most faithful rendition of people being on mushrooms ever.
It was pretty
Hey.
spot on.
And I also thought
Let's lay
that
down.
I think that
Everybody lay down.
to me, to go back to the everyone being stupid, I think that kind of explains it too. I think they're all under the influence
yeah,
the
everybody's
entire time.
yeah, everybody's.
And
not,
I think, in fact, everybody
nobody's-
there's under the influence of something.
Yeah.
But those guys are hit with a bunch of other
They're hit with
stuff
shit that
they
they're
can't
not
handle.
used to. They don't know what's going on, and then it just they obviously like once it gets towards the end of their plan, like
Yeah.
they start hitting them with the harder. Like now we're going to totally push this dude over, like push
Yeah.
Christian over the
Yeah.
edge, and get him to drink this shit, and
Yeah,
it's
here
going to
goes
break
the-
down your defenses.
As soon
Like-
as he's like, I'm staying and I'm going to do the same thing you're doing, I'm like, he's under some kind of mind control or whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. He's so
I want to
messed
write
up.
my thesis on what you're writing.
Yeah,
and
at that point, they've
I'd be
crossed over.
totally cool if we like shared credit. I'd be cool with that. It's like, dude, you've been slacking this whole time. It's going to be he's going to do all the work, and you're going to take credit for it. And I understand why he was upset. The other guy was like, "Fuck no, I don't want to do this."
I liked Josh for the most part, and up until the point where he's like trying to take the pictures.
yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
that's
that's
just fucked up.
it's like,
Well,
why
again,
would
I
you?
think he's high or something because like that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was just like. Well, I think that the whole like shared thesis thing led into that too. Like he was driven to like get something more like
Better.
yeah, to make sure that he totally stood out.
Yeah.
So he went that extra like.
Oh, yeah,
I
that
feel like
makes
maybe he would not have crossed that line
That-
if
that
it
makes
had
sense.
not got to that point. But that
They're all
that pushed
terrible
him.
anthropologists.
Yeah.
Totally terrible anthropologist.
the whole thing of no, we do selective breeding. Cut to other guy. Yeah, we incest. We incest a lot.
Yeah.
we incest for a purpose.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Wasn't that-
yeah,
All the seers had to be inbred,
had to be
right?
inbred.
Yeah, like hello, we need our prophecies.
yeah,
Because
but
Colleen missed that. She's like, I never understood the deal with that guy. I'm like, you must have been asleep during that. 'Cause they explain how that happened.
But it's also ridiculous because it's not just like you have sex with your brother and you come out with a child that's deformed. That's not how it
I'm
works.
not even capable of that.
Well, they wouldn't necessarily like to be that deformed, but maybe there was just something else about them that kind of.
Yeah, and I'm sure if they need to try a few times, they would probably try a few times.
But it takes like generational incest to
To
get that
get
bad.
to there. Well, I feel like they've been working at it.
they're trying.
The bloodlines are maintained, as they said too. So
Yes.
I'm just glad Josh was asking the questions of like the high priest or whatever. He was like, no, but so what happens when the seer dies? Like every question he asked, I was like, yeah, no, what does happen?
yeah, I wanted to see a little more into that lore too.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a better way to get exposition than
It
the other
was.
ways it could have happened.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
made
for
sense
sure,
that he was
for sure.
curious.
Yeah, yeah, totally makes sense.
I actually really liked the obvious tapestries for those reasons.
Yeah.
Just here you go. Here's a diagram.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought that was great. Yeah.
See this bear? Keep an eye.
Uh-huh.
Did they just say that's a bear?
Yeah.
Yep, that's a bear.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, the bear in the cage. Like
That was another
"Whoa."
funny line.
Yeah, it was
We're
like,
just-
are we
we're
going to
gonna-
talk about the bear?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of bear stuff. My favorite, definitely that bear painting though. That was good.
The one in the girls' apartment.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah, because it was so dead center, and it was like when he was like falsely comforting her. She's like, yeah, there she is. Like, goodbye, bear. Goodbye, sweet bear.
Yeah.
Well, Colleen asked if they were there for 9 days. She's like, were they there for 9 days? And the whole midnight sun. I was like, well, it was the whole midnight sun thing. So you
Yeah,
don't
so,
know.
like-
Which is another factor of like,
Yeah, fucking
I don't know what's
everybody,
going
yeah,
on. Yeah. I mean, they established that early on too.
I do have to say too, like when Christian he finally got pushed over the edge with that whole thing, like I wasn't sympathetic towards him at any means, but like you could like his like panic and freak out was like so palpable, like the expression on his face, and see when he was like trying to hide in the coop and he found what's his face hanging up.
I thought he was hiding the.
And
oh yeah,
they blew that dust in his face and his eyes turned like crystalline blue, like in the dark, like right before he dropped.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I thought that was great too.
That
just
made me
one more
laugh.
thing on dong talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't his dong bloody?
It looked like it, yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
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 I did.
I did.
I look at one
And I
every day,
tried
and
not
I
to
would
look.
know. I know when there's blood on one. Immediately.
But I mean, that's totally in line with
Yeah.
what was
She
going
tried
on.
to put some in there, and yep.
No, I think it's just because he's a virgin.
That's a myth, Keith. That doesn't happen every time you're.
But it did that time.
I'm not saying it happens every time. I'm
She
just
just
saying
put
that
her
it's
menstrual blood into his drink, so she was on her period.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that was just yesterday, in whatever terms,
Yeah.
in a 24-hour day.
Did it have to be fresh?
Is that a good time to get pregnant?
I think it can
I don't know
happen.
the rhythm method or anything. I don't know anything about getting people pregnant.
Well, she could feel the baby, so I think she was good.
Yeah. I mean, she
And
had
she had
She's
a lot of other
also a
forces.
virgin, so
She had a lot of other forces working for her
She did.
too.
She did.
yeah.
She had all that old lady juju going for her.
Ooh.
All the singing,
Yeah. Yeah.
fertility singing.
Oh, like bringing them up, moving them around.
So we have quite a few visual gags happening this episode, which I'm going to have to come in and from time to time to let you know what's happening. So you can find out what we find so funny too. In this first installment, Marianne is making kind of a squeaking noise here, but what you can't see is that she's actually cupping her breasts and sort of alternately raising and lowering them in a rough imitation of the Women's Council who was helping with the mating ritual. If only we'd been doing video, we could have gotten an Emmy for this one, I think.
Yeah.
Done that one in a while. Oh my god.
See, this is where we should have video for this.
It's always whenever I think of that, I always think of the "calm your tits." And someone saying "calm your tits," and someone says no, and the boobs are just like flapping. Like that. That'll be for Patreon. But anywho, let's give our ratings. Do you have more? Actually, do you have? Any
That
more?
was so. I had a full list. That was just like the list that I could think of off the top of my head sitting here
Okay.
originally. So
If you think of anything else while we're going through our ratings,
yeah, I mean,
let us know. So we have two ratings. We have our entertainment value, and that would be like 1 through 10. IMDb score is like what I classify it as. And then this would be attention factor. There was horror in it, but I feel like this is more of a psychological thriller than a. I mean, there was horror in it.
The gore kind of put there. I mean, it was graphic depictions. So,
Keith, why don't you start us off?
man, see, I don't know.
Did you say the thing that you said? I only have one thing to say about this.
Yeah,
You said it.
I did.
Oh.
Oh.
It was about the chock full of hair thing. I mean, it's just like
Chock full of hair.
just
Chock full of nuts.
it had to be just.
By the way, they closed. Chock full of hair. Yeah.
Oh,
Didn't last that long.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Weird. Yeah. It was not a haircut place. I don't know. Did not last.
I don't know if I can give
All right.
numbers.
Let's start with Jessica then.
Okay,
Give
so
you time to
entertainment
process.
and thriller.
Mhm.
Entertainment like a 6. Thriller like a 1. I didn't think it was scary
And you
or
said you weren't tense.
tense
for it
at all.
either, yeah.
So, but I usually give movies low scores for that anyway. So
Entertainment, probably like an 8. I felt uneasy the whole time, so I'd give that more like a 6 or a 7, probably. Like I said, at about the hour, 40-minute mark, is when
You dropped the score down.
that's when I was like, just kill everyone. Let's get to the end. I mean, although I still, like I said, I was still interested. The whole May Queen battle and all that. Was still, there were still interesting things going on, but I knew where we were going.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, real quick, May Queen battle, I feel like somebody who'd be like very easily like made dizzy or nauseous would look up. Like I feel like that scene could have very easily set somebody off because that was a very like.
By the end, I was like,
dizzying,
"Oh
like-
yeah!" I would have been out after 2 or 3 spins. I'd have been done.
Just that scene, the way they did it, just like, all right, stop, now go.
Well, and I
Stop,
love
go.
when she. That's another thing I actually did like at that point was when she runs to that first woman. She hits the ground. She leaves, and I'm like,
You see the
on.
girl
And then
like
it's like,
puking, like
oh.
hits somebody and starts vomiting.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like, this very
it was
discombobulated.
they shoot horses, don't they? Kind of dancing
Yeah.
contest kind of thing. And I feel like as she went along, at first she's like, "What's going on?" And then she's like, "No, I'm
Fuck
winning
yeah,
this."
I'm into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the lore behind that whole dance sequence, like, you know, you're trying to outdance death, or like, what was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Death called him onto the field, and all the maidens died. And
I do feel like
then every year after
they were
that-
making all that up as they were.
right.
Like every
And,
speech they said, I was like, "You're just making it up," which
Let's
actually is not
let's
that
take
much
another
different from a lot of
swig of this
religions.
elixir.
Yeah.
Which they did it all in Swedish, so that would be
That's
the
true.
one thing that, like, if they were doing it in English, I would think that they were like spitballing it for the Americans there.
When she
But-
started speaking Swedish, like, I
Yeah.
love that.
No, I don't
Yeah,
mean the
that
actress
was
was
good.
improvising. I mean, as a religion, they were improvising.
Yeah.
Was
Like I
actually
said,
Swedish,
I think
or
that's
was
the way
it
a lot of
just
religions
Swedish
come. I was
they
like,
were communicating.
you know, Book of Mormon.
I
for
think that was up for interpretation.
That looked
for
like
sure.
a fun day.
Because there was a whole,
It did.
because
Around the
also,
King's
like,
Bowl.
oh, yeah. Another thing that I was just thinking of, too, that I forgot to mention. Am I,
No,
I'm
you're-
breaking
go.
into this now. So I do think that there was something, so obviously, so Pele, like, had plans on Danny, all that stuff. But I also think there was something, like, a little more than that. Like, there was some type of, like, she had a deeper spiritual connection because the old leader dude, when she first got there, like, told her welcome home
Yeah.
when she first got there. And there was the whole, like, her speaking Swedish thing. And, like, there was a lot of slight, like, inferences to her, like, this actually being her home and,
Yeah.
like, where she belongs, where she's from. So I thought that was also something that was
The blondness.
very interesting.
She actually looked a lot like the people who were already there.
Yeah, she did, too, yeah.
Did you guys know her from other movies before this?
No.
I know she's actually more famous for something else.
She just kept looking familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She looks
That's-
a lot like Linda Cardellini. So the whole time I
Oh, maybe
was
that's
looking
why I
at
was
her, I
really
was
in-
like, "You look so."
Maybe
much
that's why I
like
was
her.
immediately in love with her. I was like, I'm okay with her.
And
I
she
like her. And plus
talks
she's-
like her.
She looks a little bit like an older version of the Don Draper's daughter from Mad Men, too.
I kept thinking Chloe Moretz,
Yeah.
Yeah,
sort of.
but yeah, she's British, so
No, what's her name?
she did a good job.
Sally.
So, well, yeah,
The character
name,
name.
yeah.
I'd say for my reading, entertainment would be 8.5. Do you have?
Yeah.
I'll do an 8.5. Thriller value. I feel like I would gauge this based off of how much I have to look through my fingers, like when I'm like in the movie.
Okay.
Like
Yeah. No, I like that.
that's general gauge. I would say this is like a 7. I was definitely uneasy most of the movie. Like I was not comfortable. Second viewing, it was a lot better that I knew what was going to happen, so I could actually like look at things. But I was just worried about what could happen.
Yeah.
I got
So-
less uneasy after I hit the hour 40 mark because I was just
Yeah.
like, show me the dead people. Show me
Bring
dead
out
people.
your dead. Mike.
Well, so I was a little worried the second time I was going to watch it because I was just like, I don't know how this is going to go the second. Like, there are things that I definitely like was looking forward to, like looking for more, like things going on, and I knew I wanted to pay more attention to like the artwork and everything because that caught my eye the first time, but I couldn't really reflect on it as much as being like a foreshadowing thing. So I was a little worried, just like knowing everything going into it, how it was going to go. So I actually ended up liking it better the second time watching it through. And something I do have to say, like at the 2.5 hour, like the first time I watched it, I did not think that was too, like, I feel like the time went really quick on that. And I thought the second time it went even quicker. And even like my mom, who's not here, obviously, but she even said, she was like, that was a 2.5 hour movie. Like I felt like that went by like an hour and a half, like really, really quickly. So like the first time I watched it, I still loved it the first time. And I would say like it's teetering between like a 9 and a 10 on entertainment value. Second time, solid 10, like absolutely loved it more the second time. I appreciated like the music. loved the music and sound first time around too, but appreciated even more the second time around. And again, getting to look at like a lot of like the foreshadowing things, like little things going into it. I was like, like it was really fun to get to see those the second time going in, and how much more went into that movie than like I've originally seen. As far as like the
Suspensefulness,
horror, terror, suspensefulness, whatever. I gotta say, I mean, like I related to a lot of that, like just that like sheer tragedy stuff. Which I mean, I think that's a lot of the horror is drawn from like a very real place. Like it's very real life horror, which I think is much more effective than supernatural horror, in my opinion. It's much more relatable. And so I feel like that was like 7 or 8, and yeah, it wasn't like towards the end of the movie, like it wasn't like that dreadful kind of thing. But I also feel like it was kind of like, well, you know, this is where things are going now. Like you're gonna know how things are going now, but now it's like we're actually gonna give closure to this character as opposed to like Hereditary, where I mean, when people got closure were the people who had the designs from the beginning on things.
Okay.
Evil one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing about the end. Did anyone think she was going to let him live and suffer? That's what I thought she might do.
Well, we didn't know either if he was like permanently paralyzed.
Yeah.
Like it could have been just.
I thought he was already missing his arms.
No, I think he was just drugged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just drugged.
I did like how they were like,
The creaking noise that Marianne is about to make is an indication of one of the villagers prying open the eyes of the, I guess, ex-boyfriend after he was paralyzed.
one at a time, and so the vision would come back.
Christian?
And then,
Yeah,
that was
you
really
can't
good.
speak and you can't move.
So don't do shit. I liked how the woman was like, you know, you want to sacrifice him. Like, did that little nod to her, like.
Everybody, like each of those, like even just like the slight side characters, and that were all like appropriately like fucking unnerving too. Like each one of them was very
smiley,
like very off, and like in very weird ways,
or not smiley, which is just as bad.
Or not smiley.
Yeah.
The eyelids woman looked so much like Anna Faris. Like I couldn't get over it. Like, I was just like,
which one?
The one who lifted the eyelids.
Oh,
like
yeah.
she looked like Anna Faris. Like she just did to me.
The main lady, the older lady who did all the speeches, sounded just like, what's her name, Frau from Young Frankenstein.
Cloris Leachman.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
she sounded
I
much
thought-
like her. So
I thought so,
that's
too.
what I kept
Yep.
hearing in my
I
head.
can see a little bit, yeah.
Keith, we're back to you.
Well, I mean, numerically, I don't know, but I will say that I felt like I was on what? No, it's just we'll get there.
He'll talk his way through it.
Yes.
He's gonna get there.
Um,
Process.
for the very first moment, it was just when, especially once they went abroad. From there, it just felt like I was on a ride, and it was interesting. I was kind of numbed to it and kind of just going along with it and seeing where it was going to go. Didn't really feel bored, surprisingly. I'm going to say I usually don't like things that are too slow in that way, but I just kind of went along with it. In that sense, I wasn't really scared either, because I just kind of felt like these people are going to die, and it just very much in the same way that Jessica was, and almost in the sense that Stephen was. I'm just like, okay, I want to see how it's going to happen now. Let's get to it.
But we didn't get
not
any of that.
Yeah, but not like impatient, but just I want to see how this unfolds. I want to see what the lore is, and that was kind of interesting.
When he starts running around and starars finding everyone, that's the Friday the 13th, where everyone's flopping out of the Halloween moment or whatever. It's
the
just,
leg just straight out of the ground.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I was like, really, Pele? What kind of shitty gardening are you doing over there?
obviously, it's not buried. You're not going to grow anybody there.
Growing the leg.
Not that far.
Yeah, so there were points where I could just sort of, from a detached sense, feel what people might feel in this moment, or go, yeah, I can see why this would be whatever. But I wasn't really like, I wasn't fully enamored, but I could feel it being enamoring, if that makes any sense. Anyway,
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I think the New York Times review said a similar thing, which was, I think when it was in setup phase, I was more in like, okay, and like if that had kept going for even longer, I think I would probably been more interested because that was more interesting. But then as soon as the snap hit me, they're like, okay, I know where we're going, which I guess you kind of knew anyway. As we were going in, Colleen's like, I was like, do you know anything about this? She's like, I don't know, but they had the giant poster in the gateway. She's like, but based on her face, I don't think it's going to go well. I was like, right. It's not. I don't think so. But yeah, I thought that setup was great. And we saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that's a different podcast, on Sunday. No spoilers. I would just say it also has a long setup, which kind of goes longer than this.
Yeah, that's typical for him, though.
You're right. But it meanders more than his other movies, I think, and in a good way. I was the same way with that. I was like, I have no idea. I think you just said it, Keith. Like, I'm not sure where this is going, but I'm okay with checking this out. This is interesting. And then once I knew where I was going, I was
For a lot of like culty kind of movies, like that's kind of like the MO.
Yeah. Well, and I've never seen The Wicker Man, but I'm familiar with it. But I didn't when you guys saying Wicker Man.
Yeah. Wicker Man. I have seen both.
It's certainly got elements. It ends the same way.
One of them is fantastic.
Yeah.
One of them is hilariously fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, I've never seen either version, but I've seen a lot of the first one.
So, getting back to numbers then. Yeah, I would say that I'm hovering around probably like a 7. It's like I needed to be in the right mindset, and I think I was, because I was kind of committed to going through it. So it's sort of like eating vegetables in the sense of like I just had a good hearty kind of plate of broccoli or something. But it doesn't.
Jackson says it's like a plate of broccoli.
It's not my favorite kind of horror in that sense. It's not the kind of thing that pulls me in the sense, the kind of like, yes, I'm just already all in. But I was committed to it, and I wasn't feeling regretful about it. So
it was good for you.
Yeah.
So number-wise, we're still looking for that number.
Let's go 7.
Okay, 7 for entertainment.
Yeah.
Suspenseful.
See, that's what.
Did you not find it suspenseful at all? Or were you?
It's not like it's one of those things where I knew what had to happen, but I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, and I didn't know who was going to die exactly. So, there.
I don't know if this will help you, Keith, but it was my least favorite horror movie I've seen this year. It's my second favorite.
So you've seen 2.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Us.
Oh, okay.
What was it?
Us.
Well,
I like that.
Anyway.
We were just actually talking about that. The sophomore films of these 2 directors have been kind of a little bit of letdowns, is what Jessica was saying.
oh, see,
I don't think Peele could help but have a letdown. But.
I wasn't a big fan of either of Peele's films, and
Oh, okay.
I thought like Midsommar was leaps and bounds above Hereditary.
We gave it a
too,
10, so yeah, I would hope.
Yeah, I mean, it also like it. I just
Hated it the worst. 10.
like comparatively to like Hereditary too. Like it didn't have some of the weird hiccups that like Hereditary had. The shit that just didn't make any damn sense in Hereditary that never got explained either. So I feel like he avoided some of those pitfalls, which was good.
Okay. So your score for tension is 5. Middle of the road. Were you tense at all? 3, 1, 0.
4. Let's go 4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to score yours based upon the old ladies and old men?
No.
Your hereditary.
My hereditary score was by how many unwanted old lady boobs and butts we saw. I don't want to see old man peeing. That's just the thing. I just don't like it. And there was a lot of it in this one too. But no, it was
not hereditary level.
No. So I would give this a 7. Entertainment, maybe an 8. I think I'm opposite of Steven when it comes to give me less setup and more of the actual horror part, because we didn't get to see anybody killed really coolly or anything, and they showed some people the aftermath of some really cool things, and I'm like, I would like
we've
to
talked
see
about
any of these things.
on our other podcast. It's all the time before. Yeah, I don't want to see somebody flayed. I'm not into torture porn. I'm no part of that.
I am.
So I prefer it the other way around. I prefer it the other way around. So yeah, that makes sense.
So
Probably
that's where I'm
closer to
opposite
that.
of That's where I'm opposite of Steven and Keith. I wanted to see it, and I wanted to do with less of the pre-work and give me some of the actual work. So 7, maybe 8, if in the extra scenes they give us some of that.
I feel like probably.
Yeah.
Considering.
And or at least some of the setup to the deaths, because they were just like, oh, he's missing.
I mean, six times back and forth the MPAA to try to get it cut down to an hour, and having more than a half an hour of footage slash. That's a lot.
Oh, so you think that's what it is then? I
feel like it's going to be sex scenes.
Yeah, my thought.
Be 30 minutes of nudity.
I thought it would be either nudity,
like,
lore, or tripping scenes or something.
I think there's probably some trim for time, but I mean, the interview I read, it's like, it was a chore with the MPAA to get it cut down to an hour. Like, we had to take a lot of stuff out of it.
I don't think they'd waste the special effects if they did it. But
I'm guessing they did the Scorsese thing with Goodfellas, where he's just like, we're going to throw, or Casino. It was like, we're going to throw $9 million in there, so we're at least going to get $4.5 million in the movie. They can only cut so much, and we'll get the R. So I feel like, yeah, a lot of peen, and there was probably originally 7 peens, and probably one of them got cut off.
So you're saying that
I mean, one kind of did get cut off, but with the rest of the body.
You're right. Yeah, that's right.
So you think it's a bargaining tactic?
Yeah.
It's like, we want what we want is 10 peens. So we're gonna give him 20.
That's what Scorsese.
No, we're gonna give him 20.
That's literally what he did with the Casino. He was like, I'm gonna throw as much as I can. I think Kubrick did it with Clockwork Orange too. Threw as much as he could. And,
oh, you guys drive a hard bargain. It's worth several 10 peens. Oh, damn it.
And I did think we were going to see one literally cut off. I was sure that was happening when he was running around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just flop around. It's like, and then he finally was like, oh, let me hold this.
Now that would have raised the horrifying for me up to 10.
So for horrifying factor for me, I'd give it. What did you give it?
A 1?
A little bit more than that. Because I was worried for the girl. I did like her, and so I would say
phenomenal.
3 or 4 is what I'd give it. Because I mean, up until I realized that they were going to do the switcheroo, I was like, oh, I don't want her to die. I like her, and then they're like, yay.
The same expression as she did at the end. Just
Yep. Alrighty, folks. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about, promote really quick? So we could get it in really quick because we had a lot of talking at the beginning before we actually started, having me move around.
You need the old lady to help, kind of. So this one is my fault. What you can't see me doing is I'm making the gesture that the older lady from the Women's Council is doing when she's assisting during the mating ritual of pushing on the man's butt. To help us along in getting it in. Yeah. Sorry.
Something.
You said we can get
it
in
real quick.
Okay, so who wants to talk about Us All Been Trekked? Steven?
Yeah, it's all been tricked. Also on this network. Me.
For now.
Jimmy
For
Jerome.
now. Yeah,
for
I'm
now.
not on it anymore.
Yeah, oh, wow. On a network. It's me and Jimmy Jerome, and you and Keith, actually, are pretty much our permanent co-hosts right now. And we're rewatching all of Star Trek. We've already done the original series, and now we're on Next Generation. We're on the first season of Next Generation. So you can go back and start with us, because we've got at least 34 more years of this.
That's one of our running jokes.
It's going to keep me alive.
Yep. Jessica, are you in any acting things?
Oh, sure. Coming up at Mad Lab, we have on the 17th our 24 festival.
Summer of 24.
Summer of 24.
Like the Midsummer of 24. We're supposed to work that in there.
Wait, that's one more thing. Keith,
Midsommar of A24?
every time they said Midsummer, I got excited. It was driving Colleen crazy. I would shake her hand. She's like, are you going to do this every time they say it? I'm like, you're damn right I'm going to say it. I'm going to do this every time they say the title of the movie. She's like, but that's not that's not the same. I'm like, yes, it is.
I would do. And he would never looking at me. He was always like deadpan, like I'm not gonna look at me.
I was that caught up. I was going like, what is a Midsummer?
Sorry.
So then on August 23rd and August 24th, there is also a Mad Lab, a fundraiser, a joint fundraiser with the Ovarian Cancer Alliance of Ohio. Marianne is hosting. So
And you.
And me. So come on down and listen to people sing and make some money for ovarian cancer. You can find
And Mad Lab.
information about these things at madlab.net.
Perfect.
Keith, got any books you're working on? Or books that you finished recently?
I guess. No.
Recording, not reading.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, oh God, what was it even called? The
Discourse?
Discourse and Colonialism. That was one I finished not too long ago. Currently working on Blackheart Boys Choir, which seems very much like reminds me of the Death Note kind of anime kind of thing. So should be interesting.
You can find that on Audible
Yes.
around September is what
Yep.
we're hoping.
Yep.
If you want to listen to other things that Keith has done, you can search for him as J. Keith Jackson on Amazon or Audible.
Yep.
Mike, got anything? Emily, got anything?
Excess trivia and excess karaoke every week. The very best in buzzer-style trivia and rockstar karaoke entertainment.
Awesome. And you can find it almost every day of the week. For karaoke, every day of the week, multiple locations. Trivia, is it every day of the week?
6 days a week, Monday through Saturday for trivia, and 7 days a week for karaoke.
Cool.
It's Excess with 3 S's.
Excess with 3 S's
Yes.
on Facebook and Excess Ohio on Instagram.
I don't really know if this is worth promoting or not, but I've been on another podcast, another friend's podcast called The Catch-Up Show. And I review movies using like a handful of dice, essentially. Like I roll the dice and then it tells me what year I'm going to do, and then it tells me whether I'm going to do the best or the worst movie of that year, and then what number on the list, and then I watch it and review it. But
Oh, nice.
Nice,
That
yeah.
sounds awesome.
I've only done one so far, and I watched the third worst movie of 2003, which was Kangaroo Jack with
Oh, my goodness.
Anthony Anderson and Jerry O'Connell, and it's an awful movie, and I talked about it.
All
But
right.
I'm going to be doing another movie here soon, another podcast soon.
That would be awesome.
Based on what rating or what list is it?
I cross-reference a few. Like, it's like I just did like a search on the internet and cross-referenced a few, and like overwhelmingly Kangaroo Jack was like
The third worst.
Yeah, the third worst on a number of lists.
Overwhelmingly
So-
third worst.
Yeah,
They
so,
call it that.
Yeah, I have like all these different 16-sided dice, and then like that I came up with this random algorithm to figure it
Isn't
out.
that what Al Pacino calls Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder? Doesn't he call him Kangaroo Jack?
Maybe. I don't remember. Probably. It's
And actually, I thought when you said it, I thought it was a podcast about ketchup.
Yeah.
I got a lot more interested when you said it was about movies.
I wish I could give a synopsis of what the podcast is
No,
about. My
that sounds
segment is
awesome.
about movies, but it's really
Oh,
just
okay.
about
Oh.
a lot of things in general.
Catching up on things. Oh, okay.
Catch-all.
That's
Nice.
A catch-all, yeah.
Yeah, that's very
What,
cool.
what website?
They're on the catch-up show is on Spotify.
Okay.
It's on iTunes. It's on Apple Podcasts.
Nice.
I don't know where
We'll
else.
have to. I will search for the one that has you in it. Definitely.
Oh, I haven't even listened to it yet.
It's always hard to listen to yourself talk.
Okay. Ooh.
You seem to have a nice voice so far.
Yeah.
I think it's going to
Oh,
come across
good.
well.
Thank you.
There's been no
appreciate
screaming,
it.
crying. Where we would have been like,
I'm like,
Mary-
me too.
Oh God!
That's
We get
why
all
the
do it.
fucking baby's crying because no one knows who its parents are.
yeah.
Because it's just some random passerby that they
Steven, I will
put
console
their
you.
seat in. Third.
That scene was a great scene, actually.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes.
That was
Yeah.
my favorite
actually.
scene too, because I was like, oh, I actually got goosebumps with that because I was like, because like they're supporting her, unlike everyone else in the entire movie. When she was upset, he was like,
Sorry, family dad, babe.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're overreacting. Your emotions are
Yeah.
irrational. You
Yeah.
should deal with this
Yeah.
a different way.
Yeah.
When they're just like, we're gonna feel it with you.
yeah. I love that. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
And her face was on a lot, so that thought she was good. It's
Yeah.
kind of like Jennifer Lawrence and Mother, which
Mm-hmm.
I did not enjoy nearly as much as this movie. Even though I like her face, but that was Anyway, that's another podcast.
That is a whole other podcast.
Yeah, it is.
That movie.
Alrighty, folks. I think that's all we have. We'll see y'all next time.
No big collective painful.
Come on, Jessica. Come on. Just one.
My pain is my pain.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it's. Joke there.
Now the cube is dying.
Depends on what you're trying to say. I think it's different depending on what you're
Flynn there.
It's All Been Done presents.
Who's got the time?